everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna have a little chat, okay? We're gonna have a little chit chat, and what we're gonna be talking about is 10 college tips that I wish I knew before I came to college. So I'm a junior by credits, but I've been in college for 4 years, and that is because I changed majors. And I went to community college before, and now I'm at Texas A&M University. So I think I have enough experience now to like do this video, and I should give you really good tips since I've literally lived it all. So, oh, also look at my ring. Oh, sorry, I have like really fat fingers, but look at that baby. She's cute. Can you see her? Can you see her? Yeah, she's cute. So love that for me. I'm looking down because I throw my iPad, but these tips I think are like so important to know when you're in college, and these things I feel like everybody kind of goes through, and like you live and you learn. But if I could tell you this before you go into college and you won't have to live and learn them, then I think you should, you know? All right, so let's go. So first I'm gonna talk about, these are kind of just like a mixture of like school-wise and also social life-wise. I kind of just like wrote them all down. They're in no particular order. They're random. The order that I thought them in. So I'm just gonna tell y'all to them in that order. So number 1, you will fail, and that is okay. You will fail at getting into organizations. You will fail at classes. Well, like not whole classes hopefully, but like, you will fail like a test, you'll fail quizzes, you'll fail homework assignments. If you, I don't know, like you will just get rejected and you will fail, and that is okay. I know that some people are so smart in high school, not saying you're not smart in college, but like you are a straight A student in high school, you are doing amazing, you're getting straight A's, 4.0 GPA, whatever. A lot of people can come into college and literally just the stress from like going to classes, trying to manage your social life, trying to manage like living by yourself, trying to manage like not gaining 100 pounds, and just all those things can really bear down at you, and trying to like figure out how much you can study or how much you're able to study, and like just making time for everything and time management is crazy difficult whenever you come from high school. I know that in high school I could study for like 15 minutes to like 30 minutes and ace a test. In college, it is not like that. You will probably study about 7 hours per test and still fail the test. And that will happen, and that is okay. If you don't, then you are literally so smart, and that is awesome for you. But if you do, then just know that that's normal, and like, everybody does it, literally everyone. There's not anybody that I know that's not failed a test in college. So you just have to know that if you do fail it, they don't just give you one test, they probably give you 4 or 5. So if you fail one of them, then just pick up yourself, get it together, cry a little bit. That's also really normal too. I know that I cry kind of often in college, but if you cry a little bit, take a day, take a breather, go do like some of the things that you love to do, and pick yourself up and get over it. I mean, it's gonna happen, happens to all of us, so what are you gonna do about it? Pencil. My next tip is that you will probably spend about 65 to 75% of your time studying, and that's necessary. Like I remember I think my second semester at Blinn, which is community college here in College Station, and I had a biology class, and my professor was like, so I would say for every hour that you spend in class, you need to spend about 3 hours outside of class studying for it to make a good grade. We were in this class for about 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. So that is a lot of time spending strictly just on studying biology. And all of us were like, okay, this lady is nuts. Like, she just, no, okay? She was not wrong. You definitely need to study that much, but you don't have to just cram. That's like probably the worst thing you can do in college is cramming for tests. You're not gonna be able to retain as much information as you want to if you study only the night before for a huge test and it has all this information. So I would say plan ahead and study ahead of time. And also your GPA does matter. Yes, it is in most cases, or in a lot of cases, after college, it's not what you know, but it's who you know. But it definitely helps if you have a good GPA. A lot of recruiters who come to career fairs will sometimes even look at your paper and look at your GPA and turn you away and like not know why you're talking to them. So definitely for stuff that's like engineering or medical or veterinary stuff or stuff like that you don't have per se like a portfolio, because like luckily for my major you have portfolios. So even if you're under like a 3.5, you can still have a portfolio and be like, yeah, I don't test well, but this is my grade, like this is my work. So that will help. But I know in a lot of majors, they don't have things like that, especially if you're not in like an arts major or a Bachelor of Arts. So I would say definitely focus on your GPA. Your grades do matter here. And yeah, just work really hard and it'll pay off. All right, so my next tip is going to be all about FOMO. And if you don't know what FOMO is, it is the fear of missing out. In college, there's a lot of parties. There's a lot of football games, basketball games. I don't really know what other kind of, baseball games, like all the other things that people want to go to, all these frat parties, organization stuff, and things like that. And a lot of people, luckily I don't have this issue because I'm like kind of like a homebody. Like I'd rather just like hang out with Jacob or like my close friends, and I'm not really like in that scene anymore. I used to be when I first got into college, but I'm mellowed out now, mellow. But I definitely think that you should always focus on what you're in college for. Like just because you have FOMO and you don't want to miss out on whatever it is, you still have a test on Monday. And your party is gonna last Friday night, probably Saturday morning because you're gonna be hungover, but you're still gonna have a test on Monday. So I would say don't value the party or the event over your schooling. So this is something else. Learn how to be alone. And I know that sounds so weird, but hear me out. So I did not know how to do this. I was in a relationship for a long time and then broke up, and then I learned how to do this. But I used to always be very like people focused. I used to always want like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. Let me just bring my friend along. I'm gonna go to the gym. Why don't I take a friend with me? Like I'm at home. I don't want to be alone. I need somebody there. Talk to my roommate, whatever. I think that it is so important, especially in college, because you learn so many different like ways to not like, I mean, I guess like just like ways to like be yourself and like find out so much more about yourself whenever you were alone than you would if you were at home per se, like with your family all the time, or if you're with your roommates all the time and stuff like that. And especially this also goes kind of hand in hand with relationships, because you don't have to have one. Like it's okay if you're single, like it's fine. If anything, that's like time, like the best time for you in college is whenever you're single. So I think that with that being said, to find like things that are like really that you love about yourself, things that you like to do, things that you enjoy doing by yourself. Like I love going grocery shopping by myself. Like I think that's so relaxing just to walk up and down the aisles and look and see what they got. I think it's really relaxing to go wash my car. I think it's relaxing, not really to, I mean, I like to work out by myself like at a gym. But I think it's just like up to you to like find those things that you love doing by yourself and do them by yourself. And I think that's like a huge part of just like growing into like who you are and like as an individual. So next we're gonna talk about organization, sororities, and frats. So I am in organization at A&M, and it's like a women's organization. We don't do a whole bunch of like, how do I say it? We don't do like a whole bunch of like sorority type things. Like we don't spend as much money, but I think we do like do similar things. That makes sense. But there is literally like, I think at A&M alone, there is like 3,000 organizations. So I think that no matter who you are, what you're doing, you can find something that you enjoy. And I know that all colleges across, at least America, has these kind of things. If you're into robotics, you can do robotics. If you're into astrology, you can do astronomy. Obviously, I ain't in that club. You can do geology stuff. You could do like arts and crafts. You can do like clay making. There's music clubs. There's religious groups. There's women's organizations. There's men's organizations. There's literally everything for anyone. So I think it just depends. Like if you're into it, go to it. See if you like it. If you don't, switch it up. Go try something else. I think that's something else that like people don't understand is that they always think like, oh, I need to be in a sorority or a frat, and that's all I got. But really, no. Like it just depends on like what you're into, and there's something out there for you. With sororities and frats, though, I will say that I have a ton of friends in fraternities and a ton of friends in sororities, and if that is like your like way of life, do it. They're like, these people have like the most fun. They love their sororities. They love their frats. They're like diehards. And if you're into that kind of stuff, then for sure, like go sign up, do all the interviews, see if you can get in. And if you can get in, then like, that's literally like 300 friends just instantly. So like, if you're into that, go do it. But don't think that's your only option. And I think that that is like most important. And then also like, even if you're not in a sorority, you can still go to frat parties. They'll take any girls. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a girl, you're in. So next, we're going to talk about that, like the fact that since we're on this topic of parties, we're going to talk about you don't have to drink to have fun. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, well, all you do in college is party and drink alcohol. And like, that's not true. It is a lot of what a lot of people do in college. I will tell you that. But you don't have to do that just to hang out with your friends. And also, I personally, this is my own personal experience, so if you have been in a situation, I'm really sorry. But I have never experienced peer pressure, ever. I've never experienced peer pressure to drink anything that I don't want to, or to go anywhere I don't want to, or anything like that. So I think that that has to be said, that you're not always gonna be in that kind of situation. Like I said, if you are, I'm really sorry. But you don't have, like, that's not like, to me, at least like situations that I've been in, that doesn't really happen. And if that does happen, then whoever's peer pressuring you is not your friend. Straight up. If someone is peer pressuring you to like have your girlfriends and like you're pre-gaming like an event or whatever, and they're like, oh, come on, drink this. Like you have to drink, just you're gonna be so much more fun if you're drunk, or like whatever, then they're not your friends. They're just there to make you see bad. They're just there to see you make bad decisions. That's it. They're not your friends. So you need to go get some more friends by joining an organization or sorority or something, because they're not it. Okay, so next we are going to talk about eating out, okay? So my first 2 years in college, I don't even know, like it was just kind of like a weird time in my life. But the first semester I did not have a car here. So that really made me obviously like eat at home all the time. But that's when I lost so much weight. Like I was the fittest I've ever been. I'm not gonna say the happiest, but I definitely was the fittest I've ever been. And that was like the time that like, I don't know, like I looked the best. I ate so well. I ate meat and veggies. I watched my diet. I worked out like an hour a day. I had like the best body I've ever had. But I think it is so important to not just eat out, because there's so many places. And I know a lot of college kids, they don't want to cook for themselves. They don't want to go to H-E-B. They'd rather just go to Chick-fil-A, or they'd rather just go to Whataburger. It's easier. Like on my way to class, I'll go pick that up and whatever. I would say unless you have like a dining plan and your family bought dining dollars, then do not do that. Do not eat out every single meal, because it will catch up to you in some way. You're gonna either feel sluggish, or you're gonna show that you've eaten out every single meal, or you're just gonna do whatever, and it's not gonna be good in the long run. Like I know that whenever I feel sluggish and kind of sloppy, that's when I don't perform the best. I'm not in the best moods, stuff like that. So it's really like, there's really no point. Like you're not getting anything really out of it. I know that if you live in dorms, it's different, depending on how much you are allowed to have in your room. Like some of them can't have like toasters, microwaves, or whatever. I would say definitely try and like look to see what you're allowed to have, and then kind of work with like whatever does that for you. But if you are eating out every meal on Dining Dollars dining plan, try and get like the best for you, and don't just eat something fried and breaded all the time. Just try and like mix it up at least, and have like a somewhat healthy diet. This one hit me hard my first year in college. You may get homesick, and it may suck. Like you may get homesick, and there's two ways this could go. For me, everybody says you're gonna get like the freshman 15 from eating out 24/7 or whatever. But I think it really comes down to being homesick, and you might get the freshman 15. Either you're gonna lose 15 pounds or you're gonna gain 15 pounds. And I lost 15 pounds. I was the skinniest I've ever been. And I believe I got like this because I was homesick. I was trying to just like find things that filled up my time. So I did a lot of working out and a lot of studying. So like that's pretty much like all I did. But yeah, so I think that in everybody's time in college, you at least get a little bit of homesick. You're gonna miss home, you miss your friends at home, your family. I would definitely say though, the cure to this that I've seen is do not visit home. Do not go home, okay? If you are homesick, do not go home. Because if you are homesick and you go home, you will realize that you miss being home and you will move back home. I've had friends do this. I've had 3 friends do this actually, and they went home every single weekend or as soon as they could, and they would go home, and then they moved back home within like 4 months of being in college. This next one is kind of controversial. So the hookup culture in college is definitely real. A lot of people don't really like think much of it, and I think that's fine. Like if that's for you, then you know, you do you. But if that's not who you are or what you want to do, you don't just want to have one night stands with everybody you can find, then that is fine too. That is completely fine. I think that no one is going to judge you for that unless it's the person that you're saying no to. And if they do, then they're not for you. Like easy peasy. Here we are at my last tip. This is one that took me a minute to realize. And I'm so happy that I'm here and I have realized this because it is so true. I cannot even like explain to you how honest this is. Get ready for it. You ready? No one cares. Period. No one cares what you look like. No one cares what you're wearing. No one cares that you have zits all over your face. No one cares that you're not wearing makeup and you haven't in like 6 months. No one cares that your hair looks like a rat's nest because you haven't brushed it in like 4 years. No one cares that you have like huge bags under your eyes because you're studying all night. No one cares that if you fell in the middle of like a hallway, and that you feel really embarrassed, everybody else probably just like, oh shoot, that sucks, next. Like they're just moved on with their entire life. Like they don't care. No one cares. No one's actually looking at you. No one gives a shit. Period. No one honestly cares that something that you're so embarrassed about or something that you feel like you're not doing right, no one's listening. This even happens in presentations. Like if you are nervous, this is what because I am so bad at giving presentations, but I can do this, but like this is just my camera. And right now no one's here looking at me, but I am so nervous before presentations. Like it is the most nerves I've ever gotten, but no one's listening. The only people that are listening is your professors. And just looking them in the eye and block everybody else out. So you're having a one-on-one conversation with you and your professor. And that's it. That's all you need, you know? So I think if you're on that kind of like wavelength with just you and your professor and you're just talking, you're not gonna be as nervous because no one else is listening to you. Just realize that. No one else cares. And pretty much you can do whatever you want. All right, guys, so those are my 10 tips that I wanted to give y'all. for my college tips, the things I wish I knew before college, the things I think you should know before you come to college, all the little tidbits in there. But yeah, I think these are so important. These really help just getting through like your first year, if even. But yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram so we can connect over there. I am actually doing vlogtober, so expect a lot more videos from me. Always be posted at 5 p.m. I will put my little schedule picture here. You can also see me over on Instagram, and I'll be posting over there probably a ton more about all of my videos, and make sure to check them out. I will see y'all next time. I hope you have a great day and a good year at college.